This is Providence Television International, the game changer. Stand by for the next program.
Polls open for 2024 U.S. Election Day as Kamala Harris and Donald Trump face off, and heavy rains in Spain's Barcelona amid search for flood victims. This is the world news. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the World News on Providence Television International. My name is Edna Cesar Garrick, and now the details. On the eve of Election Day in United States, presidential candidates Donald Trump and Kamala Harris blazed through battleground states while trying to drive home key promises to supporters and voters still on the fence. Vice President Harris zoned in on cities across Pennsylvania, while former President Trump made stop in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. The Democratic candidate was joined by pop culture figures including Lady Gaga and Oprah Winfrey, while Trump called on stage his sons and former Fox News host Megyn Kelly, with whom he once had a contentious relationship. Millions of Americans will head to polling booths to cast their ballots in 2024 presidential election, in which Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and her Republican rival Donald Trump are locked in a tight race. There are 230 million eligible voters, but only about 160 million of them are registered. Nearly half of the 50 states in the United States, however, allow on-the-day registration, while citizens can vote without registering in North Dakota. More than 70 million people have already voted through postal ballots or at early in-person polling stations. Voters will also elect 34 U.S. senators and all 435 members for the U.S. House of Representatives. Additionally, gubernatorial races will take place in 11 states and 2 territories. At least 6 Palestinians have been killed after Israeli forces attacked their tent in the town of Azwayada in central Gaza, Deir el-Balah. Israel's war on Gaza shows no signs of slowing down. Deadly attacks are being carried out against residential buildings across Gaza Strip by the Israeli Air Force as well as ground troops. The civilian death toll has been mounting in the past 24 hours due to the repeated Israeli attack on a very heavily built-up neighborhood in the town of Beit Lahia in the northern part of Gaza. At least 20 Palestinians have been killed there, and people are still trapped under the rubble. At least 9 Palestinians have been confirmed killed in the central and southern areas of Gaza, where 3 tented camps of displaced people were targeted. In total, at least 70 Palestinians have been killed in the past 24 hours across the Gaza Strip. Sources say Israeli police have stormed neighborhoods in Swalan in occupied West Jerusalem. Earlier, Hamas has called for Palestinians to confront the incursion by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank. The Spanish city of Barcelona was hit by flooding on Monday as search and rescue efforts continue following devastating floods around Valencia last week. Spain's state meteorological agency has placed part of Catalonia on red alert for torrential rain, with local media showing footage of cars partially submerged on highway. Parts of the Barcelona El Prat airport, the second largest in the country, have been flooded. More than 80 flights have been cancelled or delayed, while rail services have been suspended. A similar weather event which hit Valencia region with a year's worth of rain last week has caused at least 217 deaths. On Monday, rescuers focused their effort on searching for missing people on the ground car parks. The storm caught many victims in their vehicles on road and in underground spaces such as car parks, tunnels, and garages, where rescue operations are particularly difficult. It is feared shoppers and workers were trapped inside the car park at a shopping mall in Aldenia on the outskirts of Valencia as floodwater overwhelmed the area. Police have confirmed that no victims were located in the first 50 vehicles inspected at the site, but reports suggest these vehicles were found near the entrance of the car park with much of the rest of it still submerged and yet to be explored. Away from the foreign scene now, back home, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered an investigation into allegations of mistreatment of minors arrested during the End Bad Governance protest. Report says 76 suspects, mostly minors, who appeared malnourished, were arraigned in connection with the protest. 6 of the minors collapsed and had to be taken out of the courtroom for medical assistance. Reacting to the incident, the IG claimed that the fainting of some of the minors in court was staged to attract negative attention. He added that medical assistance was promptly provided, emphasizing the police commitment to the welfare of individuals in their custody. Following the public outrage over the incident, President Bola Tinubu directed on Monday that the charges against the minors be withdrawn. Scores of youth stormed the headquarters of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on Monday, demanding the immediate resignation of the group chief executive officer of the company, Mele Kyari. The protesters, led by some civil society organizations, described Kyari's leadership as incompetent, citing skyrocketing fuel prices, endless fuel queues, and economic hardship on Nigeria. The protesters, carrying placards with different inscriptions, said the leadership of the NNPCL boss has failed. Central to the protest were grievances over skyrocketing fuel prices and the never-ending queues, which they argued have been inflation and plunged millions of Nigerians into poverty. They also decried the importation of adulterated fuel, which they said it is corrupt practice that harms citizens by damaging vehicles and businesses. Additionally, the group criticized the unfulfilled promise of the Dangote refinery to resolve Nigerians' fuel crisis, expressing frustration over the billions of dollars spent on refining development and refurbishing existing facilities. They argued that despite these investments, fuel shortages persist, leaving Nigeria reliant on costly import can even an oil production nation. They urged President Bola Tinubu to intervene by overhauling leadership in the oil sector, enforcing greater accountability, and putting citizens' needs first. The Chief Judge of Ekiti State, Justice Oyewole Adeyeye, has passed away after a brief illness. The sad news was confirmed on Tuesday by the Chief Registrar of the Ekiti State Judiciary, Olanike Adegoke, in a statement released by the Judiciary's Public Relations Officer, Michael Oba. Adegoke paid tribute to the late Chief Judge, describing him as a respected jurist who dedicated his life to upholding the principles of fairness, equity, and justice. Born in 1960 in Aroromi, Ugbesi, Ekiti East local government area, Justice Adeyeye was called to the Nigerian bar in 1986. He was appointed Chief Judge of Ekiti State in October 2021, a role in which he served with distinction until his passing. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. With that, we've come to the end of the world news. But before we go, let's take a look at the top stories that made headlines. We brought you the report from Spanish, which said the city of Barcelona was hit by flooding on Monday. A search and rescue effort continued following devastating flooding around Valencia last week. Spain's state meteorological agency has placed part of Catalonia on red alert for torrential rain, with local media showing footage of cars partially submerged on highway. At least 6 Palestinians have been killed after Israeli forces attacked their tent in the town of Azwaida in central Gaza. Dar el Bala. Israel's war on Gaza shows no signs of slowing down. Deadly attacks are being carried out against residential buildings across Gaza Strip by the Israeli Air Force as well as ground troops. And finally, on the eve of Election Day in the United States, presidential candidates Donald Trump and Kamala Harris blazed through battleground states while trying to drive home key promises to supporters and voters still on the fence. Vice President Harris zoned in on cities across Pennsylvania, while former President Trump made stop in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and the Michigan. That's our package. Thanks for watching. Edna Zagari is my name. Good afternoon.